Hello everyone, welcome to my little video. For this one, I'll be sharing with you how I made 3 really cool looking Halloween DIYs on a budget. For DIY number 1, I'm going to start with the candy corn tree. For this one, I'm using one of Dollar Tree's foam cones. I'll be using 3 fabrics from Walmart. I believe they were 98 cents each, and I chose candy corn colors. I also used skewers. I found a pack of them at the Dollar Tree. This planter pot originally goes with this artificial grass that is originally from IKEA, but you can use whatever your heart desires. And I'll be using this molding clay that I purchased at Walmart online, and I got a big brick of it for about $10, and I've been using it a lot lately. I like it. For the beginning of this project, I had to do a little bit of measuring to see how much I need to cut my skewers. I'll be using 8 of them. This little planter pot is really nifty because it has this holder in the center, and I don't have to use some kind of foam block, so it kind of saves me a little bit of trouble there. And then I'm just trying to figure out how long I want my skewers to see how tall I want my tree. So once I got the gist of how tall I wanted my tree, I then cut the skewers down to size, and I wanted to use all the pointy ends to make it a little easier to get them through this foam cone. And now I'm just going to paint them all brown with this apple barrel acrylic paint from Walmart. So this part I'm just showing that I had to do some measurements on how much fabric I wanted to use for each section, and that's why I made these markings. The easiest way for me to figure out how much fabric I needed to cut was to use a measuring tape, and then this is going to help out a lot. And I ended up doing 3 layers of fabric. So this is me working on the first layer. And then I just hot glued my fabric on with Gorilla Hot Glue. I then made more measurements because I was going to work on my next 2 layers. So the reason why I'm cutting up my fabric like this is because I wanted this to look like a tassel tree, like these are tassels hanging down, but I later realized I kind of made this look like a piñata, but that's okay because it still came out cute. That would be a cool idea for Cinco de Mayo, is making a piñata tree. I think it would be cool, I don't know. My original plan was to find some of those cupcake holders and do like a layer of cupcake holders, just cutting them and gluing them in a way that they made a shape like a tree. Maybe adding on some pom-poms and making those pom-poms look like little spiders, and then adding some ribbon and a little bit of webbing. But I didn't find any cupcake holders that I wanted to use. I didn't have any luck with that. So I don't know, maybe this is an idea that you would like to do. Maybe you would like this more than the candy corn idea. But yeah, there's an idea for you. Okay, back to the candy corn tree. So after all the fabric was on, the next step I took was decorating the planter. And the first thing I had to do was paint it all white with this white acrylic paint from Apple Barrel. I wanted to paint this planter with acrylic paints that matched the candy corn colors, and I'm going to use a sponge brush to dab each color on one at a time. So I started with the orange, and then I went with the yellow, and then lastly I put more of the white on. And now it's time for the molding clay, and I'm going to use the molding clay to make little candy corns. It's probably possible to use real candy corns, but I didn't want my little ones to eat them, and I was just afraid they might want to eat them. And at least this way they see me making them and they'll know that, oh, these aren't real candy corns. Thankfully, my plan did work. While those air dry, I'm going to use some newspaper to stuff at the bottom of my planter. And now I'm going to add this little straw hay I got from the Dollar Tree. It does make a mess when you break the wiring. I meant to grab this really small, they have really small hays that were next to it, and I meant to grab those, and I ended up grabbing this one by mistake, but it's okay, it worked out. I just added some of that to the top of the newspaper and to cover the newspaper, and then whatever was left over I just wrapped up in a little baggie. Now that my clay molds are mostly fully dry, I went on and painted them and the candy corn colors, so white and orange and yellow. I had glued some of them around my planter, and then some of them I just placed under my tree. And that's it. I think it came out really pretty. Now the next two DIYs, I'll be using Dollar Tree's foam skull heads, and if skull heads aren't your thing and you just wanted to see the candy corn tree, that's perfectly fine. Thank you for watching this far into the video. I truly appreciate it. For my next video, I will have some fall DIYs for you, so I hope you stop by again. Bye! DIY number 2, I'll be using 2 of Dollar Tree's foam skull heads and a round wooden plaque, also from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to be putting hot glue on the side of the eye and on the chin, and I'm only gluing it on one side. So I took a skewer and then I placed it inside, and then I have a little bit of it sticking out because I'm going to put the other skull head on top. Now I'm going to use chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree. I really only needed one of these, and I'm going to paint the entire thing with this chalkboard paint. So I didn't use any hot glue to hold down the second foam head because it just wasn't necessary, and then plus this way I'd be able to move the head any which way I wanted if I wanted to change it up, and then when it comes to packing it away, it would just be easier to store it and not worry about breaking it, and I could use it again for next year and I can change the style of it. I guess my advice, if you're going to try this one, I would first paint everything and then put it together because it was a little difficult to get to the paintbrush into those little crevices. Since I use chalkboard paint, I'm able to take a piece of chalk and write whatever I want, and then I can erase it and change it up if I wanted to. I also use chalk to color in the teeth. Now for the decorating. I'm going to use these black spiders from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue those on, and I'm using a Gorilla Hot Glue for everything. I have these gems from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use those for the eyes. And I'm going to hot glue those on, but you know, later on I did find a safer way to put hot glue on those gems and without burning myself with hot glue, and I ended up using eyebrow plucker. And what I did was I placed a gem in a way that gives you like a good grip with the eyebrow plucker, and then you'll be able to put hot glue on and place it on the object without burning yourself, but you really want a good grip on it. Now I'm going to be using some of those Dollar Tree Halloween flowers. They did have one that had an eye in it. I didn't use that for the eye You could do that look if you wanted to, but that just wasn't the image that was in my head. So then I ended up using one without the eye in it. But I still ended up using this eye thing in the project, just not for the eyeball. Since this flower was so big and it kind of covered half the face, I did end up trimming it down a little bit. I have these feathers that I got from Walmart, and I'm going to use those to go behind that flower just to give this a little more ooh la la. Now I'm adding more decorative flowers, and because it's foam, I don't need any hot glue. I can just stick those decorative flowers right in there. I can't remember what these are called, but I got them at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna insert them in the back of the skull heads. And it's done! So this is the final reveal of it, and I think it came out pretty good. I was going for a gothic look, and I really love how it came out. And it's cool because at night, when we have the light on in the kitchen, and the rest of the room is dark, and then the gems for the eyes do this kind of shimmering effect, and so it looks pretty cool at night too. Another idea that I had that you can try is setting up the skull heads like this, but then painting them like the Day of the Dead skulls, painting them really colorful, and then using like artificial roses. Or also Dollar Tree has those orange flowers, those decorative flowers that you can use. So there's another idea. For DIY number 3, I'll be using 2 of my own books. I chose these because they were the perfect size, and I just love the gold edging around this book, and then the ribbon that both of these have it works out great for this project. I'll be using this poster board to make 2 book covers. To measure this, I opened each book up and I measured a few inches away from the book because I need the poster board a little longer than the book itself because I need to be able to close it, and the poster board needs to close with the book. It helps to have the poster board a little bigger than the book because I'm going to be putting paint on, and so if it's a little bigger, then the cover will help protect it more from getting paint on the actual book. Once I covered both books, I hot glued one on top of the other. And now it's time to paint, and I used brown acrylic paint and metallic gold. I also used different shades of green. I started with the brown and I sponge brushed it all on, and for this project I didn't use a paintbrush, I used a sponge brush. And then I added my greens. As you can see, I'm dabbing the paint on, and I think this is going to give it more of a textured look. These mushrooms I found at the Dollar Tree, and I ended up painting them. A easy way for me to paint them was sticking them on a skewer and then putting that skewer in a foam block and then this helped with painting. It also helped with drying. Now I'm painting them red, and I'm going to do red with white spots, and then I'm going to go and paint the stem part also. While all that dries, I started on painting my skull head, and I just used the greens and the metallic gold colors that I used when I was painting the book covers. So the stems for my mushroom were just a little bit too bright looking, so I wanted to dirty them up a bit, and that's why I used the brown paint mixed with water, and then I used a paintbrush to just paint that onto the stem, just to make it a little darker tone. The brown paint was all I had on hand. Now I'm going to hot glue the skull on, and I'm going to put the hot glue at the bottom of the chin and the head. I have these cotton balls that I'm going to hot glue those on, and I'm going to use scissors to trim them down. I wanted these to look kind of swampy-ish, and so I painted them green with a little brown. Then I'm going to hot glue a mushroom on top of this, and then I did these steps 2 more times. I have these wood stems that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue those on. And I have this reindeer moss that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue that on. Then I hot glued one of the gems in one eye. I'm going to use the metallic gold paint to paint the gem. I'll be using my clay mold to make smaller mushrooms. And I made these in 2 separate parts. One part was just the stems, and the other part is just the top of the mushroom. For some of my mushroom stems, I did give them a little bit of a curve at the end of them. I hot glued the pieces together, and my setting from my glue gun is on high heat. I tested one on low heat, and when I tried painting that one, it broke off. So I would stick to making the hot glue gun really hot for this. And now I'm just painting them, and I painted them the same color as the bigger ones. Last thing I did was hot glue these on. The ones with the curve at the end, I put those in the eye socket, and that sounds weird. And anyways, the other ones I just placed wherever I thought would look good. And that's it. Here is the final reveal. I love how this came out. It looks so cool, and in person it just looks even cooler, and it's really eye-catching, and it's exactly what I wanted, and I love it. I hope these ideas inspired you to make something even cooler. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you come back for the next video, and if you're not subscribed, I hope you consider subscribing. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you again for watching. Bye!